Welcome to all the action and excitement from the European Tractor Pulling Championships. Fans from as far afield as Finland and France, Germany and Great Britain have made their way here to Walibi Flevo in Holland to follow their favourites. 7 different classes are being run over this 2-day event, so there should be plenty of drama for the fans in the pack pulling arena, provided by 60 or so competitors from 9 different countries. Well, the name of the game is to pull this sledge as far as possible down the 100-meter course. At the same time, a weight box is moved by gears and chains from the back of the sledge to right over the pan at the front, and that tends to stop even the most powerful in their tracks. Well, we start today with the 3.4-ton modified class. And first a couple up, Herman Jeans and Power Horse from Belgium. There's very little tread on these tyres. They spin them as quickly as possible to pull by friction on top of the track, not digging into it. The Belgian champion going well. And Power Horse gallops his way to about the 95-meter mark. Over 100 meters is called a full pull, and that qualifies you to the pull-off final. Here's the high-tech box where the distance is measured and then flashed up on the scoreboard for all to see. So 94.72 for Herman Jeans and Power Horse. Now from France, it's Vernil III with Julien Bohors in the hot seat, hoping to improve on last year's 9th place. Two Allison V12s firing on all cylinders, start speed all important at tractor pulling, but he drifts wide. He must stay inside the chalk lines or he'll be disqualified. He keeps it in bounds by the skin of his teeth. Now has he crossed the 100-meter mark? This is a tense moment for the 18-year-old French farming student. He's been pulling now for 2 years. He's the French champion, and now he's in the pull-off. Full pull to Vernil III. There's the weight box returning down the sledge. It's also got its own power, so it can return back to the start. And the sledge driver will really have to be on his toes later today, when we'll see one of the biggest and fastest tractors in the world, the General from America. Well, that's later, but now let's see a list of the 6 fastest who've qualified for the pull-off. There are 6 nations represented in the pull-off, and on the right you can see the time it took to cover the 100 meters. So Desperate Dan could have given Carl Lewis a good run for his money. Look at that, a wheel-going walkies, much to the amusement of the crowd. Ah, well tackled, sir. There's always friendly rivalry between the different groups of fans, and the Germans are warming up because here's Museum's Cat. Springing from the start, helped by 3 American Arias engines that normally power drag racers. Look, there's nothing timid about this cat, really going for it. But just short of the 100-meter mark, and that has really given the others something to think about. Richard Holtz only started driving this year, and I think he'll be happy with that. 97.97 is the target to aim for. And those Germans hope it's good enough to win. Now here's Beverell Beaver, driven by Kees van der Poel, who was 3rd last year. There's 5 Chevys giving all they've got, and he'd have liked an extra one because I think he's coming up short. Yes, well behind the cat, and Kees knows it. 82.14 for the tractor mechanic from just south of here near Amersfoort. The engine combinations are governed by a point system. For example, an 800 horsepower V8 is rated at just 8 points, a 6,000 horsepower turbine is 60 points, and in this class you can't go over 48 points. This is super special with 3 Keith Black motors controlled by Stellan Bartholdsson, a Swedish champion. Stellan swerving offline there, and only centimeters from disqualification, but he keeps it in and comes to rest just short of the 90-meter mark. 25-year-old Stellan comes from Gislaved in southern Sweden, where you find Anastorp, which is a former Formula 1 racing circuit. That was back in the 70s. The Swedish fans waiting for the distance. 88.43, so that puts Stellan into 2nd place behind the cat. There's a lot of Danish fans here, and here's what they've been waiting for. The Fox, 2nd last year, hoping to go one better today. Peter Larsen really spinning those wheels at the start. 4 Chevys pumping out the power. And he's past the Beaver, he's past the Cat. Fox is on the run and well over the 100 metres. Are we looking at the winner, I wonder? The Danes are delighted. Denmark have never won a European Championship. Peter, looking at the scoreboard, 107.21. Has the Fox outsmarted them all? There's 4 to pull, and they have it all to do. In the pull-offs, they run what is called a floating finish, which means anything over 100 metres is also counted, so it's normally not necessary for an extra pull-off if 2 or more make a full pull. Well, now it's the turn of 41-year-old Jim Snell. Jim's very experienced. He's been pulling for 10 years. He was the British champion in 1990. Now, can Starlight Express III steal the glory and the limelight? Easing forward on the throttle lever. The 2 alcohol-injected Allisons from a World War II Mustang, almost flying him down the track. Our camera's on the 95-metre mark, so he must be close to the Cat. And look at that, he was pretty close to losing it all by going out of bounds. He turns to second flagman Mick Holland and says, "I'm okay, aren't I?" He gets the nod. And he gets the distance as well. 99.61 moves him into second spot behind the Fox. As we look to the start, where Asterix from Holland is ready and waiting for the green flag. Twice Dutch champion in 91 and 93, and Henk Endepol is hoping to improve on last year's 4th place. Can he do it? 6 350 Chevys giving their all, the Dutch crowd willing him on. But Asterix can only make the 80-metre mark, so that is a disappointment. 81.83, 9th place for the tractor driver from near Rotterdam. Now, where did that come from? But it has to be removed before reigning European champion Desperate Dan can take centre stage. 39-year-old Brian Armistead won both the 3.4 and 4.4 tonne classes last year. He's after the double again, and he's doing the business. Look at him go. Well over the 100-metre mark. Has he done enough to outfox the Larson brothers, who are anxiously looking down the track? 107.21 is the distance he has to beat. His mechanic Carl Carter thinks he's done so. Brian seems confident, but he needs confirmation. All eyes now on the scoreboard. 115.93, Desperate Dan takes the lead for Great Britain, and that is going to be hard to beat. He comes from near Blackpool in England, and it looks like there's another trophy for his mantelpiece. Just one more to pull, and here it is. White Horse the 6 from Holland. Powered by a Curtiss Wright Star motor. Gerrit van der Hoeven will need the pull of his life to win this one. But the weight is catching up with him. A good pull, but I think not good enough to get him into the medals. The crowd don't think so either. No, 89.53, 5th place for White Horse the 6. So Desperate Dan takes the honours. Brian Armistead retains the European 3.4 Modified Championship. As for Fox, well, he has to settle for second for the 2nd year in a row, as we now see the top 6 placings. So Great Britain take 1st and 3rd, and the top 2 will renew their rivalry in the 4.4s tomorrow. The track has to be in perfect condition for every tractor, for every pull, so the levelling and rolling goes on all the time. And now it's time for the next class, the 3.4 Super Stock. Already smoking up in the pits, as you can see. Super Stocks actually look like tractors. Standard gearboxes, bodywork, bottom blocks, and with the added boost of 3 or 4 turbos. And first away is the French farmer from Normandy, Robert Sunan with Dista. Drivers have to take many things into account. Tyre pressures have to suit track conditions, weight distribution has to be right, and the 55-year-old French champion very close to a full pull there. Has he made the final? 99.07 doesn't get Robert Sonen into the pull-off. Now here's the favourite today. The reigning European champion from Holland, bits and pieces with Leonard Griffin in the saddle. Oh, bouncing high and out of control now. Shaking about like a rag doll, his front wheels do the splits, and he thinks, has this really happened to me? As the Americans say, from hero to zero in about 9 seconds, as we see the slow motion repeat. When a tractor starts to get out of control, it goes very quickly, but not in slow motion. Look, it's really up in the front, so very probably the weight distribution was wrong. And at this point, Leonard's glad he remembered to fix his seatbelt. He's a snap-on tool salesman. Without it, he'd have been snapped off. Let's talk to Leonard and find out what happened.
Well, we made a little misjudgment on the track. We made the tractor too light in the front, and the tires were actually a little too soft. Then it went bouncing, and nothing was too. You couldn't handle it anymore.
And this young man can't handle it either, missing all the excitement. As we pick up on the next tractor in the arena, running deer from Great Britain with Jeff Ashcroft in the hot seat. Oh, he's very wide. He drags it back on course, but he's bouncing around. Look, that's loosened all the weights to the front, which are thrown all over the place, and he even ends up out of bounds. 28-year-old Jeff is a journalist. Well, he's got plenty to write about now. Let's see it again in slow motion. All that bouncing has loosened the weights at the front. Here they begin to fall off, making it even lighter. Jeff concentrating on trying to keep it in bounds. He's not quite sure what's happening until it's too late. Even when it was over, he was not quite sure what had happened.
Really don't understand. We put extra weight on the front to keep the nose down, but the tractor still keeps bouncing. I think the track conditions here just don't quite suit us today.
And I hope he's watching, because it's the only way he's going to see what he's missed. And I bet Jeff wished he could have missed this moment, being towed out of the arena in front of 10,000 spectators. They promised rain today, and lots of it, and by the looks of that sky, it won't be long before it pays us a visit. So we must swiftly on to the next puller. That's Thomas Patterson, an addiction from Sweden. And can Thomas keep it together? He's got plenty of weight bars on the front. He's still hopping a bit, but he's also hopping down the course. And this could be our first full pull. A confident run that from the 37-year-old Swede from Laholm in the southwest of Sweden, and a full pull gets him into the final. Oh dear, here comes the rain. Out come the plastic covers, and up go the umbrellas. By the looks of it, everyone must have heard the weather forecast, because they've come prepared. They say there'll be a lot of heavy showers, and I guess if that's true, then these lads are going to be pretty tired at the end of the day. And that's Annemiek, who keeps all the facts and figures for her father, Kles, who's the mic man. She's finding shelter under almost a circus tent there. And if you forgot your umbrella, you have to improvise. Any bit of plastic comes in handy, with some liquid refreshment to keep the spirits up. Right, let's take this opportunity to see those who've made the pull-off. And surprisingly, Blue Power from Denmark is the fastest qualifier, but there really is very little separating them. Plenty of experienced pullers amongst them, so it will be very close. Well, the rain has stopped, the covers are off, and Hurricane is the first to pull. Eric Myers, he's been pulling for 14 years, so a wealth of experience behind him. And Eric's doing a good job here. Hurricane hurrying to the 80-meter mark. There's the Hurricane balloon dance. Eric's waving to the crowd. His distance, 80 meters, 40 centimeters, and that sets a really tough target for those that have to follow. And here's the first of them, Blue Power from Denmark. Soundly beaten in the Euro Cup 6 weeks ago in Denmark, but the fastest qualifier today. 47-year-old Niels Damgaard calmly going about his business. Hardly any bouncing around, so his weight distribution's perfect. And he comes to a halt close to the Hurricane mark. His handicapped son in a wheelchair owns the tractor. It will be a fairy tale if he could win today, and 81.62 gives him the lead. And remember, Denmark have never before won a European Championship. What a surprise. And there's no doubt who they're supporting. Runner-up last year, Rowdy from Germany, Hans Schweiger easing on the power. With bits and pieces out of the way, he must fancy his chances. But look, he's beginning to struggle, and I think he's coming up short, but it's difficult to tell from this angle. He looks across. I don't think the fans are sure either. The distance taking a long time to come through. 29-year-old agricultural machinery salesman from München being kept in suspense. 78.17, so third place behind Blue Power and Hurricane for Rowdy. Next to be embraced by the sledge is another Dutch contender, Deer Hunter, driven by 40-year-old Vinnie Anson from Druten near Nijmegen. He's a John Deere service mechanic, so he should know how to set up his machine. He's well away. Oh, but now he's drifting off course, which he corrects with his foot brake. That shaved his speed. And he is also very close to Hurricane. Hurricane, remember, recorded 80.4, Rowdy 78.17. So Vinnie Anson wondering if he's going to end up on the victory rostrum. Again, the distance taking a long time to come through. Braking on the right to turn the corner. He looks at the scoreboard. 80.19, 21 centimeters short of Hurricane, but into third place in front of Rowdy. 1 minute it rains, now the sun is shining, especially on the 1992 European champion Mikko Pera and MP Lift from Finland. Is Valmont almost doing a conga down the course, and that will cost him valuable meters, getting into all sorts of trouble, and he stops about the 75-meter mark. The Danes are delighted. Mecca well down on the front runners, 75.16 for MP Lift. Now the 1993 Eurocup champion, JBJ Express. Stephen Clark is normally behind the wheel. He's in a golf final, so Dad gets the honour today. And Dad is doing quite well. But not well enough, so Peter Clark, chairman of the British Tractor Pulling Association, out of luck. And the Danes think their luck's in with just one to pull and Blue Power still in front. 77.02 for JBJ Express. Now the final pull from Finland. Can Caesar conquer Blue Power? He blew one of his 4 turbos in the first run, did a quick change and managed to qualify. At least he's keeping his Valmont on a straight course. But he's not going to make the 80-meter mark. And Niels Damgaard, the complete outsider, has beaten them all and earned for Denmark their first ever European Championship win. Their fans are going wild. And in these celebrations, we should record that Caesar is credited with 76.3. So first place in the 3.4-ton Superstock goes to Blue Power and Niels Damgaard. Danish Puller of the Year in 1993, European Champion in 1994. Now here's the top 6. So less than 1.5 meters separating the top 3. Right, we'll take a break and we'll be back with the General on its day, the fastest tractor in the world. Welcome back to the European Tractor Pulling Championships, and this is Gardner Stone's The General Stage 4. 4 T55 Lycoming jet turbine engines burning out, and it's about to burn up this 100 meters in a very short space of time. Watch and wonder. Wow. And the sledge driver is shell-shocked. He has never had a ride like that before. He looks back down the course, he shakes his head in disbelief. And Gardner Stone acknowledges the applause from the crowd. We'll see another run later in the programme, but now from the biggest to the smallest, the minis. Now, not quite as young or as small as that, it's the 0.9-ton mini pullers. First into the arena is Gators, double Danish champion in 91 and 92. 21-year-old Torben Hansen coupling up to the special sledge called No Mercy. And Gator is going for it. A single 450 Chevy powering him along. But not snappy enough. He makes the 90-meter mark, but that will not be good enough to get him into the pull-off. 91.05 for Gators. And this is Lambada 3 from Holland. Take the first two and the last two letters in the name, and those are the type of cars that William Dingerich sells in his garage. But he's not selling now, he's dancing down the track. Oh dear, the music seems to have stopped, and with all that smoke, it's goodbye to Lambada the third. His son coming round to see what's happened. It's a Keith Black motor, not a pretty sight. And 95.25 gives Lambada 7th place. These boots belong to a very attractive member of the press who is looking at these boots, which belong to the next competitor, Peter Doman from Germany with Nightmare. Previously known as Bandit when it was run in Holland. It's running nicely at the moment. Finding it a bit difficult to steer. Oh, and the flame from the motor did not look too healthy to me. So Peter Doman's first trip to the Europeans turning into a bit of a nightmare. 98.16 is the distance Annemiek records, 6 overall. Now here's one of the favourites, Mini Breaker from Norway. Third last year, Carl Sofersengen hoping his 520 Keith Black motor will power him right to the top. He is going all the way. This is a full pull to Mini Breaker and Norway. But he seems to have problems. And with that gesture, I guess Mini Breaker has broken. So a full pull is little consolation, especially when you've come all the way down from Oslo. Right, let's see those who've qualified for the pull-off. It's a pretty strong lineup. Mini Breaker is out, of course, but any of the other four could win. A lot of colourful characters in tractor pulling. He's a mechanic in the Kiemler concern. So is Thomas Zimmerman, who's driving Joker for Germany. A mini fan for a mini puller. 3 times German champion, European champion in '92, second last year. Is Joker going to have the last laugh today? A good run from Thomas. Just under the 90-meter mark. Yes, there's confirmation, 88.35 for Joker. Would you say she's simply irresistible? Egbert Drost thinks so. No guts, no glory is his motto. Let's see what he and she are made of. Bouncing away, but getting good start speed. And doing a wheelie all the way down the track. This is long. This is very long. And Egbert is ecstatic. So are the Dutch crowd. Could this be the first goal of the day to Holland? It's well over the 90-meter mark. 94.73, Simply Irresistible goes into the lead. Give me 5, says Gles, the commentator. There's just 2 to go, and here is the main danger, the reigning champion, Ghostbuster from Germany. Powered by a Rolls-Royce Panzer tank engine. 38-year-old Helmut Schwartz comes from Oberhammersbach near Strasbourg. And Ghostbuster is certainly tanking his way down the track. But the weight catches up to him about the 90-meter mark. He looks across. The Dutch have seen he's short and are celebrating. 90.86 and second place to Ghostbuster. Now here's the last to go. Heavy Chevy from Denmark. Joker's mechanic watching anxiously. Oh, they must both go to the same hat shop. So can Jens Sorensen get up amongst the medals? Danish champion last year. His Chevy 510 working overtime. By the reaction of the crowd, he hasn't done enough. The Dutch are celebrating. So too are the Germans. But not heavy Chevy, 86.22, just over 2 meters away from third place. So Simply Irresistible is simply the best. European champion in 1994. Ghostbuster has to settle for second spot. Thomas Zimmerman gets the bronze. Germany 2 and 3. In the next class, Jan van Alphen is one of the favourites.
It's a mean machine. We are pulling, I think, now for 16 years. And this machine we built up in, I think, 3 years ago. We are pulling 3 years with it. Last year we won both classes, the 4.4 and the 5.4 modified, in the Dutch Championships. And the engine runs well, the tractor runs well, and the engines, they are coming from a P-38 Lightning. They were used in the World War, 1940-45, and in Bell Cobra, there they were used in. It's hard to do everything alone, so we have some assistance from my companion, Bert Arts, and on the daily time he's working mechanic on trucks.
Jan third last year in this, the 5.4 modified class, the heaviest that's run in Europe. They all qualified for the pull-off, and it's Id Koopmansche to lead off. 33-year-old C. Sitzling was second last year, and his sights are set even higher today. Let's see what he can do. 2 Rolls-Royce Griffin engines driving the Dutchman down the arena. And he comes to a stop at around the 80-meter mark, and I don't think that will be good enough today. No, 79.39 for Id Koopmansche from Holland. Now here's the reigning 5.4 champion, Museum's Killer, with Eugen Kiemler at the wheel. He has a museum near Stuttgart full of tractors and tanks and planes. He's nearly out of bounds, he keeps it in, keeps his 5 Arius engines belting out the power. He's around the 80-meter mark. No, he doesn't think he's done enough, but the fans are happy enough. 82.4 for Museum's Killer and into first place. There's the big man, having trouble with his helmet. Where can I put it? No, I can't put it there, it'll fall off. No, I can't put it there. Oh well, I'll keep it here. His machine, like the Cat we saw earlier, imported from America. Here's another German contender, not with 2, not with 3, but 4 V12 Allison engines. And it's Heinz-Josef Horstkamp sitting behind all that power. All fired up and only one place to go, straight down the middle. This is raw green power. And Green Power has pulled his way almost to the 100-meter mark and into the lead, and the Germans have the glint of gold in their eyes. 97.62 for Hans-Josef Horstkamp. He's not in the least bit worried about the light rain that's beginning to fall. He set the target for the others to beat, and the German flags are out in force. 2 more to pull, and Jan van Alphen and Q8 Team Popeye is ready to roll. 6 Dutch championships, 4 European championships. Can the 45-year-old farmer add another? Straining hard. No, not today, but very close to the killer. 82.98, and his mechanic Bert Hartz is delighted, because Popeye goes into second place with 1 to run. Jan seems to be indicating he had a problem with one of the engines. If he did, that was an excellent run. Watching in the rain. Right, here's the last to go. Chariot of Fire the second from Great Britain. Mike Lawrence is in the hot seat. He's in the heavy haulage business at home. It won't be any heavier than today. And his Rolls-Royce Griffins have got him to the 90-meter mark. What a great run, and that is why it's called Chariot of Fire. So Mike comes through at the very last to take second spot. And the Germans can celebrate their victory. 89.64 for the Chariot. Let's see the fire again. That was really impressive. Back to the prize-giving ceremony. Heinz Joseph Horskamp standing proudly on top of the rostrum, flanked by Mike Lawrence and Jan van Alphen. And the final top 5 looks like this. And we'll be back after a break with all the excitement and action from day 2 and another run from the General. Join us then. Welcome back to the European Tractor Pulling Championships at Walibi Flevo in Holland. Yesterday, Great Britain, Denmark, Holland and Germany all won titles, and there are 3 classes today. We start with the 2.4 ton modifieds. First into the pulling arena is Sent from Switzerland, driven by Stefan Eggenberger. Claes Vidic is once again on the mic as we get day 2 rolling. It has 2 Rover Meteor motors from a Centurion tank, so that's probably where it gets the name Sent from. And Sent looks to have started the day with a ton. Stefan's a truck mechanic from near Liechtenstein and enjoying his first visit to the Europeans. And it's him, not Karl Muller, that takes Sent into the pull-offs. But we'll be following the fortunes of these tractors. So 7 countries represented and Black Power the fastest of the qualifiers. Extra weight has been added to the sledge. And this is Black Gold that is the first to pull. Ashley Middleton is the man in charge. He comes from Somerset and has been pulling for 3 years. He's also been the British 2-point champion for the same length of time. Easing forward on the throttle lever. It's a single V12 Allerton with a Hilborn fuel injection system that's giving him the power. And a good pull from Black Gold, 91.11, and now Ashley Middleton will have to watch and wait. Second flagman Mick Holland doing his morning exercises. And that's first flagman Willem Tamming, giving the come on to Black Power, and Paul A. Jensen from Denmark. He's the youngest driver in this class, but he was the quickest in qualifying. He has the youth. Now he's getting the experience. Look at him go. Over the 100-meter mark. Mick Holland has to backtrack. Still he keeps coming, and he says, off, off, off. And then Mick says, look lad, watch my flag or you'll be in trouble. But the Danes are enjoying it. The prospect of another medal in the offing. Waiting for the score. Look at that, a great pull from Paul O. Jensen and Black Power, who now go into the lead with 5 to pull. And that is a very confident young man. Here's the hope from Holland. Theo Kustemans and Herbie. He's been in the Europeans 5 times, disqualified once, broken 4 times, so he's not had the best of luck. His 2 Ford tank engines straining for all they're worth. And that is not supposed to happen. It looks like Herbie's had it again. Theo looks down. His mechanic looks up. But at least this was the pull-off, and he does get a score. 93.32, second place behind Black Power, as the Eagle from Finland takes off. Christer Orn built this baby himself and won the Finnish championship in '92, but he's never been to the Europeans before. And the Eagle has landed at well over the 90-meter mark. So Christer Orm from Vasa in the middle of Finland should be well pleased with that. 95.22 and into second spot behind Black Power. All eyes now on the start to see the reigning European champion Alan Williams and limited edition. Can his 2 Chevys chauffeur him past Black Power? He'll need to call on all his 12 years of experience to do so. He's over the 100-meter mark, but has he gone long enough? It's a difficult one to call from this angle. The Danes are not sure. Alan Williams is not sure. But he is now. He's lost his European crown. 103.19 for limited edition, which is now limited to second place with 2 to run. So he may well have a runners-up medal to take back to North Wales, which is what Robert Anderson had to make do with last year. Twin Chevy from Sweden taking silver and now going after gold. Nervously playing footsie with the brake pedals. The course is clear and the throttle is eased forward, opening up the 2 Chevy 471s. A little slow away and lacking the momentum of Black Power and limited edition, but Robert Anderson's a fighter, clawing his way up the course and nearly making the 100-meter mark, which is good going today. The Eagle is currently in third place with 95.22. How does Twin Chevy shape up? We'll soon know. 98.54, so third for the Swede as we check out the last to run, Baby Duck from Belgium, driven by 46-year-old Andre Wojtek. A characteristic hiccup at the start as the single Rover Meteor springs to life. His mascot is strapped to the front, either enjoying the ride or frightened to death. But this ride won't frighten any of the leaders. He is well down. 84.47 and 8th place overall. So Denmark win their second European Championship. Paul Jensen standing proudly on the podium as we see the final result, with Scandinavia taking 3 of the top 4 places. Smoke signals from the pits means it's super stock time again, the 4.4 ton class. JBJ Express from Great Britain is ready and waiting at the start. Peter Clark's a farmer from Buckingham in England. Because of the forecast of rain, he and the other drivers have agreed to more weight on the sledge and a single qualifying run instead of 2. So it's a lot harder and it shows. JBJ Express well short of a full pull. 88.33 for Peter Clark from Great Britain. Now it's the turn of Finland. Mika Perä, the 1992 European champion and MP lift. Only 7th in the 3.4s yesterday, but keeping his Valmet on a better line this time. And that doesn't look too healthy. Mikko getting a steam bath. He's not quite sure what's happened. I'm wishing it hadn't in front of so many people. Oh, I shouldn't look down if I was you, Mika. There's more water under the tractor than there is in it. But consolation, 88.7 is better than JBJ Express. Well, all the King's horses and all the King's men have managed to put bits and pieces back together again. And today it's Willem Veldhuizen who's in the driving seat. I see they've got plenty of weight on the front now. They don't want a repeat of yesterday's disaster. It isn't. He raises his arm in triumph. Bits and pieces is going all the way to a full pull. And that is fantastic. They were expected to retain their 3.4 title yesterday. Maybe they'll pick up the 4.4 instead. And Willem's relieved and delighted, isn't he? That's the way to do it, he says. So full pull, and the pressure's really on the 3 left to pull. Lifted out of the arena yesterday, leaving it to the applause of the crowd today. There's a fine line between triumph and disaster, isn't there? Now for Germany, Hans Schweiger and Rowdy. He was 3rd last year. Is he going to improve on that today? Well, we'll soon see. Down with the visor, let's get on with it. And he opens up his international. The weight catching him up. And if you brake to correct your course, you lose speed, and that cuts your distance. Very close to out of bounds. He shakes his head, he's not happy. But they are, the Dutch fans are already celebrating. And 92.46 puts Rowdy into second place, so the Germans have something to celebrate as well. As the reigning 4.4 champion, Pekka Hurley and Caesar gets ready to defend his title. Good wheel speed at the start. Steady as she goes. Now can the flying Finn go all the way? No, not today. This is one battle Caesar hasn't won. The Finns flying the flag, and what does the scoreboard say? 93.29, so Pekka Hurley and Caesar take over second spot behind Bits and Pieces with just one to run. And this one is Vinnie Anson and Deer Hunter from Holland. Vin was third yesterday, and he'd like nothing better than to finish on the podium again, hunting for those extra meters that will get him there. But you can't say he hasn't tried. Look at that hole he's dug with his wheel. And you wouldn't want that to roll back on your foot, would you? And now it's all down to the measuring box. So it must be close. And that's a perfect wheel turn. They're keeping everyone in suspense. 71 centimeters, that's a good start. .92.71, so Vinnie Anson takes third, with Deer Hunter and Willem Veldhuizen celebrating a worthy victory. The only full pull with Bits and Pieces. And the crowd salute the winners. Willem getting more than his fair share of kisses. Savouring this moment, so is Pekka Hurley in second spot. And before the award ceremony gets completely out of hand, let's see the final result. So Caesar loses his crown, and it's first and third to Holland. Right, time for us to take another break. Still to come, the 4.4 modifieds and another run from the General. Welcome back to the European Tractor Pulling Championships from Walibi Flevo in Holland. Time for the 4.4 modifieds, and first into the arena, 8 times Belgian champion Stef de Hoof and Terminator. Easing away now. 3 Rolls-Royce Meteor engines built by Rover, puffing and puffing their way up the course. Again, just one run to qualify. And the Terminator is terminated just short of the 90-meter mark. He's bought a farm in France and will be moving there next year from his home near Brussels. Right, let's see the distance the others have to beat. 87.90 for Terminator. And if he pulls in France, this is a sight he'll see. The 4-turbine beauty called Percival, belonging to Philippe Chauvin. 36-year-old Philippe comes from Bernay, west of Paris. And he's certainly got their attention. There are 4 1,500 horsepower turbines that you'd normally see in a French Super Frelon helicopter. They sound good, but he hasn't got the forward speed. And Percival hovers to about the same distance as the Terminator. And it must take him ages to polish those exhaust outlets, but they look good, don't they? 87.24 for Percival from France. Now from Great Britain, it's Kevin Whittingham and Snoopy. There's 3,000 horsepower coming from each of his 2 Rolls-Royce Griffin engines. He's really flying today. Is he going to make a full pull? This is really close. Kevin from Scorton in Lancashire in the north of England. He looks across. Not very confident, neither is the crowd. 99.97, so just 3 centimeters. That's half a little finger from a full pull. How unlucky can you be? Now Richard Holtz in Museum's Cat. 6 years as Eugen Kiemeler's mechanic, and now he gets to drive in the big time. 3 Arias engines lifting his front up in the air as they strain with the sledge. And the cat roars to a halt around the 95-meter mark. Richard looks to try and guess his distance. 96.31, 3.5 meters behind Snoopy. Chariot of Fire is next away. Mike Lawrence hoping to repeat yesterday's second place success in the 5-point forwards. His 2 Griffins are giving him plenty of go. And his get up and go got him and left him at around the 95-meter mark. Chariot of Fire records 94.72. There were 5 full pulls and all the big boys are through to the pull-off. 2 from Holland and 1 from Great Britain, Denmark and Germany. And it's Q8 Team Popeye who have the honour of leading the way. I hope Jan van Elfen has been eating his spinach, because Popeye is going to need all the energy it can muster. Beginning to spit with rain. Not yet enough to delay the pulling. Right, it's all systems go for Popeye. Already 1/3 place to his credit. The Dutch crowd willing him on. Front wheels high in the air from the effort. And that was a good run from the Dutch champion. Well, there's no question who they're supporting. The only question to be answered, how far did he go? 90.64 for Jan van Elfen and Q8 Team Popeye. Museum's Killer backing up. Eugen Kiemiller used to race in the Porsche Cup, but after a big accident he took up tractor pulling with a great deal of success as well. 5 American Arias engines purring away. The Germans hoping to repeat last year's second place, and the Killer is loose. That's 4.4 tons of solid power coming at you. And even that is stopped in its tracks by the weight on the sledge. Eugen Kiemiller looks across, a good effort, just short of the 80 meters. 79 meters, 4 centimeters, the crowd show their appreciation. And Eugen hasn't got a problem with his helmet today, he's wearing it back to the pits. Improvised ear protectors as the reigning 4.4 champion Desperate Dan makes his way to the start. He's won the 3.4 ton modified for the past 4 years, and last year he did the double for the first time. He's after it again today, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone can stop him. He's 40 years old later this month. What a birthday present if he could win. 5 Chevys kicking away. He's always one of the fastest around, and this early speed helps him when the going gets tough. And it's getting tough now. Desperate Dan straining to get every last centimetre, and that's what's made him so successful. The Larson brothers, who are next to go, have watched his run, so they know precisely what they have to do. And that's the distance they have to beat. Brian Armistead goes into the lead with 93.09. Looking a little apprehensive, Brian remembers that Fox beat him 6 weeks ago in the Euro Cup in Denmark. And it's Fox to follow on. 3rd last year, 2nd yesterday. Can Fox go all the way today? Oh, it's hard out there. Every centimetre is hard won. And Fox finishes at about the same distance as Desperate Dan. This is going to be very, very close. The crowd anxiously looking to the scoreboard. Peter Larson looks up and hopes. 76 centimetres. The boys in the box are playing games again. They're keeping us waiting. 92.76, so Fox is just 34 centimetres short of a European title. Brian looking to see who's left to pull. I can tell him there's just one, and here it is, Green Spirit the 4th from Holland. And it's Prudent Book behind the 2 Rolls-Royce Griffins. But Green Spirit runs out of gas well short of the 80-metre mark, and that is no threat to the other Dutchman, Jan van Elfen, who is safely in 3rd place. The Danes have to settle for 2nd, and 78.89 gives Green Spirit 5th place. So Desperate Dan does the double for the 2nd year in a row. Denmark and Holland take the minor placings. Let's see the final result. On the day, the top three are class better than Museum's Killer and Green Spirit. Well, I promised you another run from the General, and I can assure you, you will not be disappointed. Gardner Stone comes from Middlebury in Vermont. He started with a single Allison, then a double, then a triple, and finally moving to the 4 Lycoming jet turbines you can see here. He runs in the unlimited modified class. For the technically minded, the General is 17 feet long, 7.5 feet wide, has a wheelbase of 14 feet and a driveline RPM of 15,400. It's beginning to rain, but that's not going to stop the General now. Everyone waiting for the impressive flame out at the start. There it is, and here he goes. Oh, that is a mean machine. Gardner happy with his run, but the Flag Marshal Mick Holland didn't get out of the way quick enough, did he? Well, that's about all from this year's championships. Next year's championships are at Hårbo in Sweden, and on March the 11th of next year at the Rotterdam Ahoy Centre, it's the European Indoor Super Pool featuring Art Alphonse and not 1 but 2 American turbines. So for now, it's goodbye from Roger England and enjoy your tractor pulling. Goodbye.